All right, hopefully everyone's having a good Monday out there. I am on the lovely campus of ESPN. You can see right behind me is a nice field in Bristol, Connecticut. There is actually a putting green out there. So if you see me on July 2nd hitting golf shots from there, we know free agency has taken a little bit of a haywire here. So let's talk a little bit about Atlanta and Utah, John Collins trade. I am fortunate that I have my computer, laptop. We're doing it on the laptop because the night of the draft, my laptop imploded. I only had half of my screen. Something got spilt on the screen. So I had no laptop Friday. I fortunately was able to find a computer on campus. It's been one of these old desktops that I've been working out of. And now I have a loaner computer that hopefully my laptop gets fixed here. But nobody wants to hear about my problems here. John Collins, okay. This is an example of the new collective bargaining agreement. We sent out the article, we put out the article this morning as far as the spending tiers of free agency. The Hawks were in the tier 5 when it comes to free agency, the dreaded first and second apron teams. They were a luxury tax team. They were over the first apron. They were headed toward the second apron. They were in basically financial purgatory because of all their contracts, the Collins contract, the DeAndre Hunter contract, the Trae Young contract. And for them to get out of purgatory, they had to make a salary dump. And it's fine to admit that you made a salary dump. When you trade John Collins for Rudy Gay, it's a salary dump. That's the reality of it. But that's fine, because if the goal is to sign Sadiq Bey and Onyeka Okongwu and DeJounte Murray to long-term extensions or new contracts, John Collins or DeAndre Hunter were going to have to be moved. So welcome to the new CBA, where teams in purgatory and our first-round exit teams have to move money to teams like Utah, who are now renting cap space for the next 3 years to John Collins. And we're going to talk about the Jazz in a minute here. But Collins has 3 years left on his contract, 25-3, 26-6, 26-6. Atlanta creates a trade exception. They go under, they created a $25.3 million trade exception because Rudy Gay, coming in at 6'4", goes into a trade exception, 25-3 out. They are now, congratulations, Atlanta, you are now $9.3 million below the luxury tax. You are now 9.3 below the, let's see here. They are below the apron. They are below the second apron here. So all in all, they did what they had to do, and is a hit to their roster when you lose a player like John Collins, 14, 15 points a game? Yes. But long-term ramifications here, as far as if the goal is to sign Murray or Bey or Okongwu to extensions, there was no way ownership would ever sign off on this tax bill. Not this year, not next year, and not in future years. And it was okay. Trust me, I've done salary dumps in my life. This is a salary dump. And that is why John Collins is now in a Utah Jazz uniform, because it gives the Hawks flexibility. Okay? So that is it from the perspective of Atlanta. Welcome to the new CBA, where teams under luxury tax, who are nowhere near the apron or nowhere near the tax, or who are below the salary cap, can basically pick off teams that have good players and that need to reduce salary. So Utah was going to have cap space. This deal will happen on July 6th. John Collins now comes in. I read you his contract as far as his $25.3 million. We're still waiting to see what happens with Jordan Clarkson's option, with Talon Horton-Tucker's option here. But the Jazz, at the end of the day, had room to absorb. He is now your highest paid player. Collins, Markkanen, Sexton, 3 players making 17. They have tremendous flexibility moving forward, even with this $25 million number on their books. You're going to roll out a lineup of Markkanen, Collins, Kessler. Talk about a big front court here. Next year, they have $82 million in committed salary. The following year, $69 million. And no free agents up for extensions. Marketing is extension in 2025-26, but man, their books are lined up nice. And this is what happens, as I said, with this new CBA, where teams like, we'll see what happens with Detroit, and you saw what happened with Oklahoma City with Bertans, and they move up 2 spots, are able to go out and do deals like that are going to benefit. Now, here's the unintended consequences. What happens to free agents out there? Now, all of a sudden, Utah's off the board with cap space. There's no $26 million or $27 million slot for them anymore because John Collins, who is under contract, now goes to Utah. Now, Atlantic is not going to be able to go out and sign a guy to $25 million. So, unintended consequences with this new CBA because of basically the apron. Nobody wants to be in it. First or second, luxury tax, certainly. And now John Collins goes to Utah. It's a great move for the Jazz. I mean, basically, you were not going to get, 3 years of $78 million of John Collins. Basically, he's like your free agent signing here. That's all I have. This might be the shortest video ever, 6 minutes. Hopefully everyone is good. We'll talk soon. We got more to talk about.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.